It is our pleasure to welcome back Ashley Winsor, who has owned CleanSpace in Santa Clara, California for 3 years. I had my first 20-minute consulting session with Ashley back last October in 2010. At that time, Ashley wanted some advice on how to implement doing extra education like seminars and stuff like that, is what Ashley said. We met one more time in December when Ashley had 28 repeat clients. In January of 2011, Ashley decided to start regular consulting sessions, a major decision for her on a weekly basis. But she was so busy in the field, it actually took us until March, cleaning houses, it actually took us until March 7th before we had our first coaching session. We've been meeting every single week since then. Ashley never misses a session, and we've been meeting for a total of 9 months now. We interviewed you in April, Ashley, only 1 month after we started working together, when you had just started giving quotes over the phone instead of in the home. Welcome back.
Thank you so much, Sharon. I'm so happy to do this again.
Well, we are just thrilled to have you here. So my first question has got to be, is selling on the phone the only change that you've made in your company in the last 9 months?
Oh my gosh, no. I feel like I've done a complete 180 now. I have made a lot of other changes, process-wise, and including how I think about my business. And all the changes I've done make me more excited than ever to do this thing.
Yay. And oh my gosh, it is so much fun to see you so energized, so positive, so driven, and so very self-confident in comparison to where you were in March about both yourself and your company. Now let's take the emotional side out of it, however, and look at the facts, because you know me, I always feel the real story is in the facts. How are your numbers, Ashley?
I just booked a client yesterday over the phone. Count now is 83.
Simply amazing, Ashley. It's truly time to give yourself a big, fat, well-deserved pat on the back because I can't reach you from here. I am sure your viewing audience would love to know how you did this. It took 2 years to get to 28 clients, and in 9 months, you've really turned that number around to 82. Well, yesterday it was 82, which was really amazing. Of course, you had to go sell another one, so it's not so cute anymore. You're at 83. What's that all about, Ashley? Can you share the major changes or additions you made this past year that you feel are responsible for this huge turnaround in your company, starting with the change that you feel is the biggest and working your way down to maybe the top 10 from there?
Yes. So definitely the first one is the accountability and coaching sessions. And then I would say flyers and selling on the phone and making my employees they were part-time, making them full-time, and my wall chart. And those are probably the top 5. And also important were my action item list, one-on-ones, working my one-times not sold and canceled, and cleaner development meetings, and my recruiting of Hispanic cleaners.
Well, I see a lot of activity in 9 months. It is obvious that we cannot go over every single one of these. We'd be on here forever, but in the next few minutes, I'd really love to cover your top 5. What you consider to be the most important addition, I believe, is accountability sessions. So we'll start with that. Now, Ashley, I got to tell you that I'm not paying a bonus for you saying this. I hope you realize that. So you're going to have to continue to pay for your consulting sessions.
Oh, darn, Sharon, but they are worth it. Really, the sessions with you have been the foundation of all this change that I have done. With the nuts and bolts advice that I get from someone who's already had 700 plus clients, knows what the heck to do and how to implement it. And I've even started thinking differently now about my business. And I kind of think it's like going to college, where you learn how to think. And plus, it's just human nature to perform better when someone else is watching, and you can't let yourself be slack in your work like you otherwise would be.
Well, Ashley, you think that way, though, which makes you part of the 2% and which makes you so much fun to deal with. Francis was the same way. I mean, you all do what you need to do, and that's what makes it fun to work with you and makes you very successful. Your second major positive impact was flyers. I smiled, giggled when I saw this, because I remember you saying when we first worked together, and I brought this up, that you hated flyers. You didn't think they worked that well. So when I brought this up, you were like, I don't know. Now they're the second most important thing on your list. What in the world changed, Ashley?
Well, definitely making my own flyers, which are theme-based, changing them up, and also doing enough of them consistently. For me, for my business, it takes about 1,000 to make one repeat sale. And there are also big side benefits. It helps me with turnover. I get to give my employees full-time hours. And in a way, making my own flyers and having my own company distribute them, it keeps the money in-house. Plus, it's very cost-effective. One of the goals I had listed in December of 2010 for 2011 was to get a loan. And I thought I needed more money for advertising to increase sales. But I didn't need a loan once I found flyers. And sales from flyers were more than 50% of my net gain this past year.
Thank you for that, Ashley, because flyers have always been, to me, a key to cheap success. So I love it when anybody supports that philosophy. Selling on the phone was your third choice. As I said earlier, we had an interview with you last April on this subject, about a month after you started the sales on the phone. Apparently, you're still very happy with that process, and it doesn't seem to have had a negative impact on your sales volume, that's for sure.
Right, yeah. And I just cringe when I think about if I hadn't changed and I was still doing in-home estimates now, the clients, nobody has a problem with it. So far, only one lady has said she wanted an in-home estimate, and she didn't even book, so I'm not doing that again. And I just love all my free time now because I'm plus 55 clients from last year. So if you say an hour for each, even though it's probably more, I save myself more than a week's worth of time.
And you've used that extra time wisely, I might say. When we first talked, you were sold on part-time employees, really sold on part-time employees. I had a hard time talking you into full-time, just like I'm working on the solos now. By the way, Ashley does work with solos. You've truly done a 360 on the part-time, full-time thing, though, Ashley. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, a full-time person just plain has a different mentality than part-time. They're just plain more committed, and plus it means they need this paycheck to survive, and I'm paying them well, I'm paying them full-time, and that keeps them happy, and that's what we want.
And last, but probably not least, or I hope not least, is your wall chart. For our listeners who do not know what a wall chart is, can you explain that to them and why it is so important to you?
Yeah, so my wall chart is a little dry erase board that I have across from my desk. It keeps track of clients that I've gained and lost for that month, what the goal of gained clients is, and the number where we're at. I can tell you where we're at, where we need to be, how much I need to hustle it, and, maybe not just hustle, but dig. There was one day I needed to make my numbers. It was the end of the month. I was on the phone with Sharon, and I was, telling her, I think I know someone I can call back who didn't book, maybe another person that was kind of pending, and I was digging. I was going to make my numbers, and the wall chart, it makes you do that.
Thanks, Ashley. I was telling Ashley I just smiled so much when she was doing that because I used to pay a manager a $1,000 a month bonus when we were big if she made the numbers that I wanted to make that month. And I used to see her dig and dig and dig and dig because she wanted to put them up on her wall chart so she'd get her $1,000 bonus. Ashley reminded me very much about like that, but actually, Ashley, you did the same thing because you were giving yourself a $1,000 bonus. This is what it boils down to. We're looking back over the last 9 months. You have been, oh my gosh, accomplished a lot. Are you exhausted, Ashley?
Yeah, maybe. I guess it depends on when you would ask me that. But in all honesty, getting ready for this interview, reviewing, I kind of can't believe where I'm at and how much more or less easy it was, by implementing what I've learned from Sharon, being smart about it, taking her advice. So I am kind of jazzed for the next year to finally pass stage 1, finish Sharon's action item list, and go on to stage 2.
Great, Ashley. So can you share a couple of your goals for 2012 with us?
Yeah, probably the biggest would be finishing Sharon's action item list and starting on stage 2 so that I can know I'm hitting all the right benchmarks, like in my information and analysis, the strategic planning, my process management, biz results, all that kind of stuff. I'll also have the goal of plus 5 or 6 a month next year for that steady growth that now I've had a taste of. And I'll definitely be doing more cleaner development and investing in my people.
Nice goals, Ashley. Completely different from the ones we looked at 2011, or for 2011 when we laughed about that. When we were preparing for this, I looked up Ashley's goals, and they were not very finite. And she was going to tape them to her computer and cross them off as she did them. So to see the maturity of Ashley in the last 9 months is, as I said, I'm one proud mother, Ashley. So we know you're jazzed and excited about next year, but I really have to ask you, in your heart of hearts, do you think you're going to keep up this kind of growth rate?
Yes, and I am so excited. I know I can keep this growth rate up. Last year, plus 4 was the goal for each month, and now with your advice, that's more or less easy. So next year, the goal will be 5 or 6 each month, and I know I've got the new tools to do it.
So Ashley, we've talked a bit about the accountability sessions starting in January. What are your thoughts about those sessions and versus the weekly sessions that you're really doing now?
I think they're going to be great because I'll still have a one-on-one with you once a month, but I will also get to be sounding off on other owners who are where I am, and we'll kind of be egging each other on to, do grades, finish our action item list. I think it will be great, and I'll be glad to meet all these other owners who are like me.
I think they will be fun, Ashley. I really do. And if everybody has a webcam and we can see one another, it'll be like roundtables. But it'll also be very goal-driven. I will facilitate them in that direction. So don't think you're going to get off of this easy, Miss Ashley. Thank you so much for your time today. You certainly have been motivational, I hope, to a lot of people. I mean, 292% yowzer growth. Are there any last-minute thoughts or bit of advice that you would like to offer to our viewers? And also, are you open to receiving phone calls from them?
Yeah, if I had any more advice, it would just be to use Sharon, make sure to implement the advice she gives, and yes, definitely, I am more than happy to get any phone calls or any emails from anybody.
Thank you so much, Ashley. I encourage you viewers to truly call Ashley. If you're wondering how she did certain things, if you're wondering how these sessions did work, Ashley is really a sweetheart, and she'll answer your questions and would love to get your phone calls. We certainly hope you enjoyed our interview today with Ashley, picked up some new ideas, and are motivated to generate a 292% increase rate in your company next year. Obviously, it can be done. Right, Ashley?
Yes, ma'am.
As usual, thanks for watching, and we hope you will join us next week when we listen to $3.35 million residential cleaning service owner Rich Reese talk about his growth since we last interviewed him in February.